Now picture this, a cloud storage service that gives you 20 gigabytes completely free, protects everything with client-side encryption, and even throws in a VPN and password manager for good measure. Now, sounds a bit too good to be true, right? Well, that's exactly what Mega is promising in 2025, but do they really deliver? So after diving deep into their latest offerings and putting their performance through rigorous testing, I've discovered some surprising things that might completely change how you think about this cloud storage company. Are you curious to learn more? Come with me and let's explore Mega together. I'll start with some of the bigger changes I've noticed since my last review. Mega has been incredibly busy in the last year, completely evolving from a simple cloud storage service into something more like a comprehensive privacy ecosystem. The biggest news, they launched Mega Pass, their client-side encrypted password manager, as well as Mega VPN. I took both of these new services for a test run, so be sure to stick around and I'll tell you my experiences later in the video. But for now, let's focus on Mega's main offering, its cloud storage. Let's take a look at the core features that most people actually care about. Mega's cloud storage service covers all the basic you'd expect. File syncing across devices, file sharing with customizable permissions, and offline access through their desktop and mobile apps. Things start to get interesting when you look a little under the hood, when you look into the details. Their selective sync is pretty robust. You can choose exactly which folders sync through to the desktop app, and which is crucial when you're basically dealing with limited local storage like I do. And I always keep my laptop with me, but it only has like 250 gigabytes of storage, so that's teeny tiny compared to all the data I have and I care about. And I'll be honest here, using the selective sync isn't as intuitive as with other cloud storage services. It is nice that I can choose any folder to sync to and even select my upload and download folder, but it is not as simple as like checking or unchecking a box next to a folder. The file preview system handles most common formats, including images, videos, documents, though don't expect the seamless integration you get with Google Workspace or Microsoft 365. I found it puzzling that my .mov file previewed on my mobile device, but not really on the web browser. Shrug. So let's talk something that actually worked quite well, which is file sharing capabilities. And this is where Mega really shows its security-first philosophy. I can share files and folders with granular permission controls, set expiration dates, and even password protect shared links. There's also this neat feature where I can generate decryption keys separately from the download links, adding an extra layer of security that most other services simply don't offer. For anyone handling sensitive data, this is genuinely useful. Here's where Mega starts to differentiate itself from the competition. The integrated, I would call it communication features. So there's Mega Chat, which isn't just some add-on, it's a legitimate end-to-end decrypted messaging platform that supports text, voice, and video calls. I've scheduled meetings, I've recorded calls, I've managed video conferences with dozens of participants, and it worked well. One area where Mega falls short compared to giants like Google Drive is third-party integrations. You're not getting direct integration with productivity suites. You cannot automate anything with tools like Zapier, which is like a vast ecosystem, obviously, that would open a lot of doors for business automation. Mega also recently redesigned its web interface. And when I look back at my review from a year ago, the differences are noticeable. Visually, it still has the same layout with a sidebar on the left, a menu bar along the top, and your content being basically the main focus on the page. Difference comes with a little bit of a reorganized sidebar and more options along the top. With this redesign, you can quickly navigate to your media, to your shared items, devices connected to your account, or Mega's plethora of other products. Functionality-wise, the new interface, for me, at least, works quite well. Everything is clearly labeled and it's logically organized. For example, I can track upload and download progress through the transfers link on the sidebar. Or I can launch the secure chat feature by basically clicking on its icon. The desktop applications are where Mega really shines from a usability standpoint. Both the syncing client and the desktop app are surprisingly lightweight and responsive. I particularly liked how the sync client integrates nicely with my operating system's file manager. Mega's mobile apps are functional, but not particularly exciting. The iOS and Android apps cover all the essential features: file access, sharing, camera upload, basic editing capabilities. The interface is clean, navigation is logical, but there's nothing here that's really going to wow you. It at least didn't wow me, but leave a comment below if you think anything this is overwhelming. The photo backup feature is also similar to Google Photos or iCloud. It automatically syncs photos and videos from your mobile devices. However, unlike those services, Mega encrypts everything client-side. So even they can't peek at my vacation photos. There is no fancy AI organization or search through image content like you get with Google Photos. And we've covered that in other videos here on the channel, so make sure to check them out and subscribe and like, and you know the drill. But for privacy-conscious users, that's probably a plus. It's not really an omission. One thing that Mega does that most other cloud storage companies don't do is impose transfer quota. I don't like this feature, even though I understand why they have it. So if you have a free plan, you could get throttled whenever Mega needs to free up resources, right? So your free plan will always be limited. You always run the risk of, okay, they're going to cut your transfer quota and you can't upload or download anymore in your free plan. That's just a risk you run with 20 gigabytes of free storage, right? Paid plans get a little more leeway with this, right? But the bottom line is that everyone could get hit with these transfer limitations. There are ways around it though, so check out my full video guide if you've been hit with these limits. I'm going to leave the links down in the description box below, but you can also do the click up here. If you are a cloud storage power user like I am, then this is a little bit annoying of Mega, and it might just be enough for you to consider another cloud storage provider, like for example Sync.com or pCloud, or other services that we've reviewed in the past. So make sure to check those out. And on cloudwords.net, we have reviewed the best cloud storage services for over 10 years. So check out the article on CloudWords where we rank all the providers in detail, and you get a comparison charts, some calculation tools to make sure you get the right amount of storage and pay the right amount of money for what you need, because everyone is different. Everyone needs a different kind of cloud storage solution, right? So that's what we're here for. We're here to help you make the best decision for your personal life, but also for your business. The performance testing I conducted places Mega solidly in, I would say, the middle of the pack. I took a 5 gigabyte test folder and transferred my data using our Dublin-based virtual machine with a 1 gigabit per second connection speed. First, that's very important, I throttled the connection to 100 megabits per second. So to mimic a little bit more what an average user might have at home, right? And then I ran an additional unthrottle test to see what Mega really is capable of. And now, the results. For the throttle tests, I got an average upload time of around 7 minutes and a download time of roughly 8 minutes. It's neither the fastest nor the slowest service I've used, and when I cranked the connection speed to the max, the speeds improved a little, getting me around 5.5 minutes for uploads and just over 4 minutes for downloads. It's faster, but slower than you'd expect from a gigabit connection. Now, during my testing, CPU usage remained consistently low, even during large file transfers, which is more than I can say for some competitors. And I appreciate this even more knowing that Mega does not impose a file size limit. And here's a pro tip. For larger file transfers, use the desktop app. It will be faster. The foundation of Mega is the security and privacy pillar. That's their main thing that they're going on and on and on about, right? This is, in my book, simultaneously Mega's greatest strength, and it's also its most controversial aspect. On a technical side, Mega implements what they call user-controlled end-to-end encryption across your entire account. This means that all your files are encrypted on your device before they're uploaded using keys that you control. And Mega literally cannot decrypt your files even if they wanted to, which puts them in the same category as services like TreasureIt and Internext, for example. The encryption itself uses AES 128 for file encryption and RSA 2048 for key exchange, which it's a lot of technical gobbledygook, obviously, but it's industry standard algorithms that have withstood years of cryptographic scrutiny and hopefully will also withstand the scrutiny for years and decades to come, right? Most cloud storage services use the larger 256-bit key size for their AES encryption, but in reality, They're both equally uncrackable, at least from a 2025 standpoint. Mega's desktop applications are also open source, which means security researchers can inspect the code to verify the encryption is really implemented correctly. And this transparency is actually crucial for a service that makes bold security claims, and it's something that sets Mega apart from competitors who rely on proprietary, closed source software, right? Very few companies choose to make their software open source like this, because obviously it adds a little bit of a vulnerability also to their market share, right? And I've actually got a video coming up that really explains like what are the few that really are open source that you can use. So make sure to hit that subscribe and the like button so you don't miss that video where we really break down how this all works and which of these providers are actually recommendable and which you might want to try out. But, okay, and this is a big but. Mega's privacy story gets complicated when you consider the company's jurisdiction, right? The company was originally based in New Zealand and operates under New Zealand privacy laws, which are generally quite strong. However, Mega quietly moved its headquarters to Hungary earlier this year with absolutely zero silent no announcement. But we have the Wayback Machine, and I found that they updated their website with this new information sometime in March 2025. This change is both good news and bad news. The good news is that Hungary is an EU member and thus has to comply with GDPR. It's also not a member of the Five Eyes Alliance, so it's definitely, I would say, an upgrade in this regard. Here comes the bad news, though. Hungary doesn't have the best track record when it comes to governance, surveillance, and censorship. It sits at a bleak 69 out of 100 on the Freedom House Internet Freedom Index, making it the lowest ranked EU country on the list. Also, I must say, CloudWorks obviously has to make money. So we have affiliate relationships with the cloud storage services that we recommend at no additional cost to you. When you click a link and you sign up for a service, we get a small commission. And that commission over the years, we've been doing this for a decade, that commission adds up, right? Mega has also decided to just kick us out of the affiliate program. They canceled their affiliate program. So all the commissions that we've racked up in the past, they've paid them out, basically. But unfortunately now, the case is that we cannot earn any more money based off of the people that we send to Mega. So this is my completely unbiased opinion on Mega that you get. And I hope that you can make the right decision on the service and that this kind of company change and doesn't really affect your judgment too much. But it is certainly something to be aware of, that the business practices have certainly changed a little bit during this transitions. That's all I'm going to say. Then there is a little bit of the surrounding weirdness about the ownership situation. I know Mega doesn't like to hear it, but still, the fact is that Kim Dotcom is the founder of Mega and has repeatedly claimed since leaving the company in 2015 that Mega was subject to hostile takeover by Chinese investors. Kim Dotcom itself is a very controversial personality. One hasn't heard a lot about him in the past years, I would say. I don't even know if he's still active on Twitter or X anymore. But you might want to do your own research there when it comes to Kim Dotcom. Specifically, he's alleged that William Yan, who is wanted in China for fraud, gained control of the company, and Mega has consistently denied, obviously, these allegations, and Dotcom has never provided concrete evidence to support these claims. Let's talk about two-factor authentication, which is something as a security-focused company Mega should offer, and it does. And you should absolutely enable it, obviously. They support app-based authenticators, but not SMS, due to the security risks of two-factor authentication through text messages. I always enable two-factor authentication and take advantage of Mega's recovery key system, and I recommend if you use Mega, you really do the same. Unlike some services, Mega can't reset my password for me due to the client-side encryption. So having a recovery key is essential for regaining access if I lose my password or my 2FA device. We got to crunch some numbers because this chapter is about pricing. And this is where things really get interesting. I've alluded to this in this review a little bit before, where I've alluded to the bandwidth limitations. And there's a big free plan of 20 gigabytes of storage with kind of like undefined transfer quota, which I talked about earlier. And it's generally generous. Most competitors offer like 2 gigabytes, 5 gigabytes, 15 gigabytes maybe. So Mega is clearly using its free tier to attract more users. And this is how you do it these days with cloud storage services. The more free storage you give, the more people come, right? And the more you can then convert into paying customers. Mega doesn't say exactly what the free transfer quota is, but claims that it varies depending on a user's location. And the paid plans are where Mega's value proposition becomes even more complex. Now, the pro plans range between 2 to 16 terabytes for between 8 to 25 euros per month. And all plans are billed in euros only and include Mega Pass and Mega VPN at no additional cost, plus higher transfer quotas. And here's where the value calculation gets interesting. If you were to buy 2 terabytes of storage from a competitor like Google Drive, plus a separate VPN services like NordVPN and a password manager like, say, 1Password, you'd be looking at $15 to $25 monthly for a similar functionality. Now, I should also point out that you get the storage and transfer quota you need with Mega's Pro Flexi plan. It's a scalable option up to 10 petabytes. Yes, this is with a capital P here, of data or transfer quota. So there is leeway to grow if you use it also for like business or enterprise purposes. Now let's dive into those related services that Mega is pushing hard as part of the privacy ecosystem. Mega VPN rolled out throughout 2024, and it's pretty good, but nothing really spectacular. It uses the modern WireGuard protocol with SHA-20 encryption. As I talked about earlier, it supports up to 5 devices simultaneously and has servers in 15 countries. And this isn't a lot of servers compared to more established VPNs like NordVPN or Surfshark, but it's a decent start for a new service. Now, I kind of don't like it when services muddy the waters a little bit in their service offering, meaning one service tries to hit it all, be a VPN, a password manager, and antivirus, and what else they can throw in. So I kind of not like that because they tend not to do anything particularly well. So rather stick to what you can do well, which is cloud storage, and not expand into too many other categories, right? But this is just my opinion. During my testing as well, speeds were acceptable, but not really exceptional. I typically saw a noticeable speed reduction compared to non-secure connection, which is pretty standard for VPN services. The VPN app interface is refreshingly simple. There are no advanced features like split tunneling. There's no kill switch on all platforms or obfuscation for getting around censorship. I would say for the casual privacy protection, it's fine. But if you're looking for maximum anonymity, you want really a dedicated, established VPN services. And you can check out cloudwords.net, where we have reviewed, I think, over 80 VPN services, and you can find the best ones if you check cloudwords.net. Mega Pass, their password manager. It's a notch up in terms of impressiveness from the VPN. The core functionality, it covers everything. Password storage, cross-device syncing, password generation, autofill across browsers and mobile apps. The client-side encryption means Mega can't see your passwords, which puts it on par with services like Bitwarden or 1Password from a security perspective. A new password manager VPN sounds pretty comprehensive already, but Mega, well, they didn't stop there. In December 2024, they introduced Mega S4, which is their enterprise-grade object storage solution that's compatible with the Amazon S3 ecosystem. You also have something like Backblaze B2, or you have Wasabi, right? So it goes more into this area. And all these updates, they send a clear message, like, Mega is no longer content being just another cloud storage service. They're positioning themselves as a privacy-first ecosystem that can handle your files, that can handle your passwords, even your VPN needs, and even communication in one place. Now, next time they're going to launch a project management software. I don't know what comes next, but yeah. As I said, whether that's a good thing or not, well, that's what we're here to figure out, and we're going to keep tabs on Mega's development and update these reviews on a constant basis so you know if it's really worth checking it out or not. So what's my final verdict on Mega? After I could hopefully show you that we've tested and analyzed it extensively. And yeah, it's complicated, right? It seems like a fitting service. What they offer and their history, it kind of doesn't really go well together, I think. That's why now the company really wants to distance themselves from their history, from their founder, from anything that sounds a little bit off to their privacy-first message. But yeah, is it believable? I don't know. On the technical side, Mega delivers on most of its promises. We have client-side encryption, legitimate, well-implemented, performance is solid, maybe even borderline spectacular. And the feature set covers most users' basic needs. No? The bundle approach with VPN and password manager creates like a genuine, I think, value for users who want comprehensive privacy-focused ecosystem, even though, as I said before, I don't like it specifically. It might be a good use case for some of you guys who just want to have the basic feature of all of these services that we've covered. However, Mega's challenges are significant. We have the lack of third-party integrations, which limits basically productivity potential. It limits how you can use Mega in an SMB or in a business environment, right? We have the jurisdiction questions. While likely not a practical concern due to the encryption, it creates basically an uncertainty about the company's long-term direction. And frankly, if you only need cloud storage, there are cheaper and more polished options available. Mega works best for users who prioritize privacy over all else and want a single provider for multiple security-focused services. So, if you're handling sensitive data, value client-side encryption, and appreciate the convenience of a bundled VPN and password management, Mega offers genuine value despite the quirks that we've discussed in this review. The 20 gigabytes free tier also makes it an excellent choice for users who need substantial free storage with strong security. On the other hand, if you're primarily looking for the most polished user experience, extensive third-party integrations, or the absolute best performance, you'll probably be happier with alternatives like Google Drive, like a pCloud, like a Dropbox. Now, Mega's privacy-first approach necessarily involves some trade-offs in convenience and in the feature richness. So, if you're curious about Mega, I'd recommend starting with the generous free plan to see if the interface and workflow suit your needs. And just remember that with any cloud storage service, especially ones with Mega's complicated history, it's wise to maintain regular backups and not put all your digital eggs in one single basket. So, what do you think about Mega's privacy-first approach versus the convenience and features of mainstream alternatives? Have you had experience with their new VPN or password manager services? Let me know in the comments below, and let's start a discussion here. Is it worth signing up for? Obviously, if this deep dive was helpful, don't forget to subscribe for more in-depth tech reviews where we actually put these services through their paces instead of just reading the marketing materials. And as always, thank you very much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in my next video. Bye-bye.